Rolo, how do women gain insight and introspection?
How do they gain that? Okay. I think people
Other
are asking.
than buying a ticket to
People are. I get this question because I had somebody was hitting me up, I think in Twitter not too long ago, when I was saying that it is entirely possible for women to have insight, and it is entirely possible for them to get that introspection that they need. Usually, this is a learned process, though. So if you're talking about like what I would suggest to whoever, I forget the name of the guy who super chatted this, but go look at my series of posts on instinct, emotion, and reason, or rationality. And what I go into in those posts is the difference between what instinctual, or I should say, what interpretive processes men and women are predisposed to. So we all have an instinct. We all have instinctual survival instincts. We all have instinct. Body language is a good example of that. We see people, we've learned from the time we were like, 3 years old to read faces and to understand what expressions mean, things like that. That's instinctual shit. Beyond that, when you're interpreting things that come into your world, or your stimuli that comes in from the outside, women tend to opt for how it makes them feel about something. So it comes in, or whatever it is comes into their world, and they process it through the instinctual process, but then it goes directly to the emotional processes. How does that information or that stimulus, how does that make them feel? Whereas men, it's the other way around. It's like they think, okay, what can I do with this information? How can I solve this problem? What can I do to build something with this information that I'm getting? So they're passing that through a rational side. It's one of the reasons I named the blog The Rational Male. And then maybe they think about how it made them feel. Women, on the other hand, are the opposite. They think about how that information makes them feel, and then they parse that out in a rational sense and use that. So it's not saying that women don't have a rational side. They can do that. It's just that that's not their first priority. That's not what they're predisposed to. They're predisposed to an emotionalism. But it's not to say that they can't learn to prioritize that rationality. It's not that you can't teach a woman to have introspect. We always talk about how women are naturally solipsistic. Yes, they are. And that is a predisposition for women, is to think of themselves before anything else. That's one of the reasons you don't have to teach a woman or a little girl that she should be her own mental point of origin. She already does that. And everybody in her outside world has already reinforced that from the time she was 5 years old to when she's 25 or 30 years old as a young woman. So you don't have to teach a woman that, but we have to teach men not to do that. At 5 years old, we teach boys as if they're defective girls. Well, part of that education is they teach boys to take themselves off the pedestal and to put womankind on the pedestal. And so we're teaching that boy to take his natural predisposition and alter it. Well, I'm saying that you could do the same thing with a woman. If you taught that woman that she should always think about other people first, if she should always be more introspective, if she should think about how things are affecting her in a rational sense, yes, you can develop it in a woman, but it's not their natural predisposition. So that's what I meant by you can teach a woman to be more insightful. And honestly, we've just been talking about that for a good portion of this show. Is, Donovan says, hey, you got to train your woman. Well, that's true, but you also have to teach women you have to teach women to think of things other than themselves. If you want to sublimate women's solipsism, you have to teach them to do that. They can learn. So when a guy, here's the best example I can give you, is when a little boy comes out of the womb, he already is born with this mental firmware that pretty much gives him an idea of how to throw an object. He knows how to throw a ball or a rock or a weapon or something. And that was an evolved adaptation so that kid could go and hunt prey from the time he's, 5 years old, 6 years old. He's already putting his shoulder into it, and he throws like a boy. That's what we say. He throws like a boy, whereas a girl throws like a girl, because she doesn't have that natural predisposition. Now, can you teach that girl to throw like a boy? Yes, you can. You can put that. You can make a girl a good pitcher for the little league team if you work with her and you teach her to do that. But that is not her natural predisposition that it is for the boy. And that's what I'm getting at. A woman's natural predisposition is solipsism, but it's not that she can't be taught to learn to be more introspective and to be more insightful.